8.2 Basic HTML Rules. In this video, let us look at the simplest HTML rules. Yeah. All right. First, let us look at the properties of HTML tags. All right, some simple properties. The first one, HTML tags are not case sensitive. Yeah. So you can use lowercase or uppercase, but there is a way that most programmers use. So that's the lowercase. So currently, most programmers use the lowercase. Although you can use the uppercase, but most of the programmers, web programmers, if they see you are using uppercase, capital letters as the tag names, they will not feel good. Yeah, because that's not their convention. So by convention, I want to say this: most experienced web programmers, they use the lowercase. Yeah. But if you go back to the history, we know HTML, if we go back to the history, when we look at the early versions of HTML, go back to the time as early as mid-90s. So let's, based on my experience, I have that experience in approximately mid-90s, that early, mid-90s. At that time, then, so probably I should write this, mid-90s. At that time, people use uppercase HTML tags. Yeah. So at that time, the uppercase probably the convention. People like to make the tag names, emphasize that part, try to make that stand out from the remaining content. Yeah. So that's my memory, old time. Yeah. But the current time, yes. So when after 20-something years, more than 20 years, so now most of the programmers, they like to choose lowercase HTML tag names. Yeah. All right. Next, probably. Most tags appear in pairs with an opening tag and a closing tag in this format. Yeah. But here you can see the wording here, most tags, not all tags. So not all tags. That means there are some smaller number of tags not in pairs. You can see single tag cases. Okay. Yeah. So here we have some simple examples. Yeah. Some Singleton tags examples. We can see here the first one, BR tag. BR tag. The meaning, a line break. Yeah. So when you write line, you want to change a new line, you have to insert a new tag to tell the web browser to do it. Otherwise, if in your text editor you take the line break, you create a new line, then the browser won't make a new line. The browser still put your second line content at the end of the first line. Yeah. The reason is simple. Yeah. Because when you create a text file, you can use the format you like, right? So because for readability, so usually people like to, make their content look as easy as possible, right? Yeah. But when the web browser renders a document, the browser will use its own rules to interpret the whole document. Yeah. So here, the line break tag is used for that purpose. Okay, but you need to put one. Yeah, here, BR tag. You can see only opening. There is no closing tag here, right? Yeah. So that's the first example. Yeah. Yeah. Here you can see here actually you can understand the reason why there is no closing tag, because there is no content in this tag. We just want to tell the web browser we want to create a new line. Yeah. After this, we want to start a new line. You don't need any other specific content for this tag. Yeah. Another example, HR, horizontal rule. HR tag, horizontal rule. What do you see? A straight line, horizontal rule. Yeah, 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 yeah. When you want to draw this horizontal rule in your document, then you put this tag without closing tag. Okay, yeah, a second example. The third one, IMG, image tag. Yeah, this one is very important, very useful. Image tag, IMG, image tag. And this one has no closing tag, right? Yeah, here are just the three examples. Probably we can still find a few more. Yeah, all right. But here, yeah, later I want to make a few comments on these so-called singleton tags. Yeah. First, so let's look at some, explanation related to these tags. Whatever appears between a tag and its closing tag is the content of tag, right? Yeah. So that's based on the structure here. Yeah. The content part. Okay. Yeah. So there is some content part. Yeah. But for the cases here, because no content part, why we need a closing tag, right? Why we need a closing tag? So you can think about that. So, yeah. Why closing part? Right? So you can think about that. But later you will see something special could happen. Yeah. All right. So not all tags can have content. Yeah. So these are the examples. Yeah. The opening tag and its closing tag together specify a container. So here we use this concept another time. Container concept. So when you see that, that means you can put in more elements. Now here, let me just say elements inside this container. Okay, more elements inside this container because you have a container. So you create a container so you can put other elements inside this container. Yeah. All right. For the content they enclose. Yeah. So you can insert many elements, but after you insert, you can see basically you grow your tree, right? Yeah. The whole HTML document, we understand it as a tree. As a tree, yeah, formed by your HTML whole document, yeah, tree structure. Yeah. Then you're throwing some more elements. Then from that particular point, you grow that tree, right? You grow that tree. Yeah. More branches. Yeah. All right. The container and its content together are called an element. Yeah, all right. So that element, but inside that element, you can have other smaller elements. Okay, the nested element structure. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay. So here at this point, now let me make some comments here about why closing part. Right? Why closing part? Yeah. Here you can see without the closing part. Yeah. So we can use these special tags for some special purposes in our HTML documents. But sooner or later, new problem could come out. New problem could come out. Yeah. Because look at the problem. If you use the Singleton tags, then the structure changes. Right. Because for non-singleton tags, the structure typically a pair of tags around the content. A pair of tags. There is a pair, starting point, end point. Yeah. So that kind of environment, that kind of format, yeah, pretty easy to handle. Pretty easy to handle. Now you insert some of the singleton tags into your document. You pretty much changed structure a little bit. You only have the starting tag without closing tag. There, to understand the whole document, something could happen. The parsing tool, yeah, here I want to talk about that parsing tool, the software parsing tool. When they hit that opening tag, they couldn't find the closing one, okay? They tried to find the closing one to match that, but they couldn't find, right? When that happened, that kind of structure change could make the life of the parsing tool harder, right? Yeah. So for that reason, later, this situation should be changed later. Yeah, changed, right. Later, yeah. Because it's not friendly, okay? Here, I want to put the words like this. Not friendly to the parsing tools. Parsing tools. Yeah, because you will see there could be several different parsing tools need to be used to process your document. Yeah. All right, but this topic we will delay a little bit. Okay, delay. Yeah, because we just at the beginning learning the HTML. I need to delay it to the point later we will learn XML. Okay, yeah. So the next level, XML documents. Here, HTML, XML documents. At that point, we need to really look at this issue another time in a deeper way. Yeah. All right, so let's continue. Another important concept, I have to erase it. Okay, another important part. All right, HTML attributes. Attributes. This concept or this construct in HTML document provide additional information about HTML elements. We need to do more. Okay, yeah. Other than the tag, sometimes we want to tell the browser we want to do more than that, right? At that situation, we need to use attributes to pass more information to the web browser. Yeah. Here, let me give you a simple example using attributes. In this example, in the form tag, then we want to do a few more things. Here, we need to use action attribute and a method attribute. Now, so we want to tell the browser, when you process this tag, we want to pass two new pieces of information to you. The first one, using the action attribute, we want to tell what is the name of the back-end server processing tool to be called to process this form. Yeah. Here, because the form need to be processed by something, need to be processed, right? Yeah. So, which program we want to call to process this form, we need to specify here. Yeah. Here, this action attribute gives us that chance to pass that information. All right. Another piece of information we want to pass, through browser to the backend. Yeah. The browser will send a request to the backend using these two pieces of information. So what method is used to send a request, right? Now, here, some extra information you may have, because here, when the browser sends a request, it uses the HTTP protocol, right? HTTP protocol. In HTTP protocol, two commonly used methods are, should be specified when it sends a request. So first, get method, another post method. Here, we tell the browser to send a get request, get type request. Yeah. For that reason, we need to use an attribute here. Okay, so here you can understand. Yeah. We need to do a little more, so we add HTML attributes to do some, more tasks. Yeah. All right, so next, let us look at properties of attributes. Yeah. First, HTML attributes provide additional information. So I already explained this example. So the meaning of these two attributes. Later we will learn more. Because later we need to learn more knowledge about HTTP protocol. Then we know, the complexity of the communication between the client and the server. All right. Here, all HTML elements can have attributes. No restriction. If you want to add attributes to, any attributes, you can do that. So no restriction. All right. Attributes are always specified in the start tag, not closing tag. So when the web browser or when the parsing tool, HTML parsing tool process the tag at the start tag, then it can process the attributes. All right. Format, how to describe one attribute, a format, usually come in name/value pairs like this format. Name, then equal sign, double quotes, value, name-value pair. Here, name-value pair, this format, this concept, this format, this way, very useful in web programming. In many different situations, we need to arrange our information, our data, in the name-value pairs. Later, you will see there are several different situations we need to organize our data in the name-value pairs. All right, yeah. But here it says usually. Usually, when you see usually, you can think about exception, right? Yeah. Exception. Yeah. There could be some exception. Yeah. Here, let's look at an exception case. Yeah. All right. Rules for quotes around values. Here, for the quotes used around values, there are some rules here. Yeah. If an attribute value does not contain any of the following characters. First, space character. Here, I use this way to represent a space character. Otherwise, you cannot see, because space, if I put here, you cannot see it. So usually people use a pair of brackets around space word to represent space character. Just one character, okay? Yeah, you understand, one space character. So then, double quote character. Double quote, that character. Yeah, because that could be confused with the double quotes we use around value, right? Single quote, yeah. Actually, the single quote here, because there is another way people can use is single quote value. Single quote, okay? Yeah. Because many cases, when you use double quotes, you can also use single quotes to replace double quotes. Okay? Yeah. Later you will see sometimes we need to switch, between double quotes, single quotes. Yeah. If everything is all right, we use double quotes. But when there is something special that could happen, then we need to use the single quotes. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Here. Next one, backstroke accent symbol. Yeah. Do not get confused with the single quote. You can see the shape slightly different. Yeah. So from your keyboard, you can see upper left corner, you can find that backstroke accent. Yeah, accent, people. Yeah, accent, there you may have different directions, right? Yeah. So, backstroke, that direction. Yeah, accent. All right. So then equal sign, yeah, because equal sign also special, because that could be confused with this equal sign, right? Yeah. So for that reason, we treat equal sign as a special character here. Then less than, greater than, because we use these two special symbols representing tags, right? Yeah, around a tag name. That they're also special characters. So in those special situations, then you have to use quotes around value. You cannot omit quotes. Otherwise, the browser would get confused. The browser would get confused. Yeah. So in order to avoid confusion for the browser, you must add quotes in these situations, containing these special symbols. Yeah. All right. But other than that, right? Then actually, if no those special characters, then you can omit quotes, remain unquoted. You can omit quotes. It's fine. You can omit quotes. Yeah. All right. That's the rule. Yeah. That's the quotes rule. Yeah. Otherwise, it has to be quoted using either single or double. Yeah. Here you can see either single or double quotes. For example, where your value contains single quote, there you should use double quotes, right? But think about if your value contains a double quote, then it's better you use single quotes, right? So think about that. Yeah. All right. But even if that here as a recommendation for a good programming way in this situation, it is encouraged to always use quotes around values. Always use quotes around values. Here, that's my recommendation. Yeah. Because here, let me explain a little more. Think about this. Yeah. Think about this. Okay. Yeah. At the beginning, your value does not contain any special characters. These characters we specify at the beginning. Okay. It's perfectly okay. You can omit quotes. But later, for any reason, just for any reason, you need to modify the value, right? But when you modify the value, you may insert a special character there, right? So later, you may have a even very little chance you may insert a special character in your value if you do not have the double quotes. Yeah, here, let's say just quotes. If you do not have the quotes around the value, you get trouble. You get trouble for the web browser. Yeah. So that's why for that consideration, to make your document more robust, always put quotes, single quotes or double quotes. Yeah. Either way, but you need to put quotes around your values to make it more robust. Yeah. That's the good programming practice way. Yeah. All right, so let's continue. Yeah. All right. The value along with equal character can be omitted together if the value is the empty string. Yes, it could happen. Sometimes we only use the attribute name. We don't need to use the value. That could happen. We just want to tell the browser, there is some special information we want to do, but we do not need to pass the value. We can pass that information as an attribute. Yeah, that could happen. Yeah. Here I do not have the example for you, but later at some time we will see that kind of example. Yeah. Only attribute name, no value. In that situation, you can skip, you can omit the equal sign and double quotes empty, right? Double quotes empty. Yeah. All right. So here I just explain this way. Think about if you have this way. Yeah. Suppose some tag, right? Some tag. Then my attribute, let me just write attribute equals double quotes nothing. Yeah. Then this part can be omitted. We just write my attribute. That's it. That's it. Okay? Yeah. You're fine. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. All right. Next. HTML comments. Yeah. We may need to make comments. HTML comments. Yeah. How do we make? Yeah. The syntax is like this. Yeah. In a program, we understand there are some situations we need to put some comments for the programmers, for different groups of people. Yeah. In HTML, we have the similar situation. The syntax for the comment, starting with special tag symbol like this, and with like that. Yeah. Then everything, the content in the middle, will not be displayed by the web browser. Will not be, because it is treated as a comment, not displayed. Yeah. For the authors of this document, so that information is useful. But at the display and the rendering time, we don't need to see that. All right. The usages, actually the usages, just our general understanding of the comments. With the comments, you can place notifications and reminders in your HTML code. Some internal information you want to put there. Okay? You don't want to expose that part to the external audience. Okay? So you understand that situation. Another typical way that people use for comments, for debugging purpose, you can comment out HTML lines of code one at a time to search for errors. You want to isolate errors, right? Think about the situation. You have a large block of text. When you display the whole big document in a web browser, things get messed up, very messy, a lot of problems, very messy. But you couldn't identify the locations of the errors, right? When that happens, the first thing you want to do, identify the error locations. Common way is a pretty good, convenient way to isolate those errors. Here, just one example. So this part, for this element, you put it inside comment. So it won't be displayed in a web browser. That means even if this element contains some errors, that errors won't appear in your document. Okay? So you can take part of the elements out of the rendering process. Only look at portion by portion in your document. In that way, you try to identify the errors. So that's a typical debugging way people use. All right. Special kinds of text ignored by browser. Here, we just have a summary. The web browsers, do not display some types of information. Here is a list. First one, comments. Okay, the first type. Second, browsers ignore all unrecognized tags without any complaint. Here, think about, you may have situation, you misspell some tags. You misspell some HTML tags. That could happen, right? If you misspell any HTML tag, then the browser just ignore that tag. Just like remove that misspelled tags and without any complaint. You won't see error message. Just the effect of that tag is gone. You cannot see. For example, when you want to boldface one piece of text, so you apply the boldface tag around that text, but you misspell that boldface tag. Okay? For some reason you misspell that tag name, then the browser ignore that tag. It cannot recognize your misspelled tag name, then ignore it. Then you won't see the boldface happen. You won't see the boldface happen. But you do not get any error. The browser does not tell you, there is an error here, you need to fix it. No. Okay? But that's the browser's rule, right? That's the browser's rule. But here I like to make comments. Some web programmers, when they develop HTML documents, they may use IDE. They may use some environment, IDE, integrated development environment. The IDE will point that out to you if you misspell the tag names. The IDE, I will talk about that later. Yeah. At this point, I do not talk about IDE, yeah, because it is still a little early. Yeah. At some point, when we have a little more knowledge, yeah, at least after this module, module 2, then I will talk about IDE thing. Yeah. All right. Next one. Browsers also ignore line breaks. Yeah, line. In your text editor, you add a line break. Yeah, you change a new line, but the browser will ignore it. The browser does not insert line break for you automatically, because in order to make the browser insert line break, remember, we need to use BR tag, right? Yeah, so that's one case. Multiple spaces. Yeah, sometimes you want to leave some more spaces between two words, right? Yeah, let's see. Word 1 space. Yeah, you may feel 1 space is not enough. I want to put 3 space characters. Then word number 2, yeah, but the web browser will ignore multiple spaces, only replace it by a single space. That's the browser rule. Okay, you need to notice that. Yeah, why is that? There is some reason for the browser. Browser wants to, the browser treat. The reason you put the multiple spaces, you want to make your document readability better, but not for the rendering purpose. At the rendering side, the browser still render it as its own way, okay? The way it is designed to do, all right? Yeah, and the multiple spaces and the tabs, yeah. When you see tab, we know one tab contains multiple space characters, but one tab just corresponds to 1 space. 1 space also, yeah. All right. But here you may wonder, if I really want to show multiple spaces, what should I do, right? If I really want to use multiple spaces, what should I do? We will learn that later. Yeah, yeah, we will see that soon. Yeah, we need to use special symbol to do that. We can do that. Yeah, yeah. You will see that quickly. Yeah. All right, next. Misspelled reserved words. Yeah. We just saw misspelled tag names, right? Yeah. Ignore, no complaint. Here, regarding the reserved words. You may have reserved words, some places, right? Also, tag names belong to this situation. Yeah. Attribute names, right? Attribute names we also treat as reserved words. And some other things. Some other things we may need to use reserved words. Some HTML symbols, right? HTMLs, there are many special HTML symbols we can represent. Yeah. In all those situations, we need to follow the rules here. Yeah. In regular programs, when you misspell reserved words, what would happen? Regular programs, C, Java, Python, what would happen? You can see, yeah, error messages, right? If you run the program, error messages. Yeah, even you cannot compile, right? Yeah, you cannot compile. So when you run it, compile, run, interpret, you will get error messages. Yeah. But for the HTML documents, the browser ignores those misspelled words. Just ignore. It cannot recognize them, but it does not complain. It does not complain. No complaint. Yeah. All right. Next. Yeah. The last slide, last page here. HTML versus XHTML. Here, finally, we get to this Xhtml. So what's that? Remember, in the previous page, I mentioned XML, right? Yeah. Here, XML. This HTML related to XML. You can see mixed, actually mixed both. Mixed XML rules and HTML rules things together. But XML is a big topic. Later we will have one whole section to learn XML. But here I just give you some minimum knowledge related to that. XHTML requires stricter syntax rules. Stricter syntax rules. Stricter than what? Stricter than HTML. HTML, the syntax is not treated as very strict. But that's not good, because sometimes something could happen for some parsing tools. The parsing tools, many parsing tools do not like the non-strict HTML syntax. Non-strict could cause a lot of confusions. So they like the XML, the strict rules. Right? All right, so what's that here? Let me give you more information. All tags must have opening and closing parts. This rule, that is the XML rule. That is the strict XML rule. All right? But this XHTML, because it tries to use the strict XML rule, so it is called XHTML. So it should use this stricter rule. Okay? All right. Otherwise, it cannot pass the document validation. So there is a validation tool. Check the pairing. If all your tags are paired, that's the main thing to check. Although there are some other things, right? Some other rules to check. But a whole bunch of rules to be checked by validation tools. You may ask why people check the validation tool. Because if you do not check the validation rules, then many documents cannot be processed by certain parsing tools. We know there are many parsing tools. Okay? Parsing tools. Those parsing tools correspond to specific software packages you want to apply, right? But if the first step you cannot pass the validation checking, then you cannot use those software tools, right? So we will have more discussion on that issue when we learn XML topic. Here, just our first view. All right, empty elements. Here we talk about empty elements. We saw that before, 3 examples, but here let's look at another time, empty elements, or empty tags. So you can understand the meaning. There is no content for those tags, right? HTML elements with no content are called empty elements or empty tags. So we have 3 examples. We will look at those examples another time. Okay, soon. All right. HTML5 does not require empty elements to be closed. HTML5, our current version of HTML5. For HTML5 itself, if you do not close one empty element, the browser won't complain. It is still okay for the browser. Okay? No error, no problem. But that's just HTML5, right? If you want to use your document in other places, situations, you may have the problem. All right? In one place, it is fine, but you move to different places. That could cause problem. All right. If you need to make a document readable by XML parsers, here it mentions XML parsers. For us, it is too early, because we don't have the XML knowledge. But later, we will see the XML, we need to apply different parsing tools. Different parsing tools, that's the parsers, different parsing tools to process your XML elements. Then the closing tags are very important. Otherwise, you may break those parsers. Those parsers won't work on your XML documents. All right. You must close all HTML elements properly. So here, you will see that will cause problem if you want to apply some other XML-based software packages. You may have that situation, XML-based software packages. You get a problem. All right? All right. Question. How to close those singleton tags, right? You want to find easy ways to close those singleton tags. Here, you have easy ways. BR tag, you just add slash before the closing arrow bracket. And here, you can see there is a space character. So that is a good practice way. Although you do not have to insert that, you do not have to insert that space character. You do not. But in order to make the, this whole empty tag, singleton tag, empty element, the readability better. So most experienced programmers, they like to insert a space character there. Okay, you can call it convention. You can call it convention or good practice way doing that. All right. Similarly, HR horizontal rule, you can do the same way. For the image tag, right? You can do the same way. Although before that, you can add more attributes. Many attributes. Otherwise, we can do nothing, right? Image tag, you need to provide your image-related information. We use attributes to do that. Because this tag is a very important one. Later, we will spend more time to learn this image tag. All right, our last topic in this video. We already go pretty long here. Our last topic, HTML entities. That concept, entities. An HTML entity is a piece of text written in a special format, special way, string that begins with an ampersand symbol, and ends with a semicolon. So you have a pair of special symbols around a small string, typically a small string, to represent some special symbol in HTML. So we call that kind of object HTML entity. All right, here, let's just see a few examples. All right, first, ampersand, AMP, semicolon. What's that? That is just the regular ampersand symbol. Because the ampersand, original ampersand symbol is used for special purpose here, right? For special purpose here. But how do we represent the literal ampersand symbol? This is the way to represent the literal ampersand symbol using an HTML entity here. All right. Second one, less than, LT, represent less than symbol. because the less than symbol, we use it here in tags, right? In tags, we use many less than. So we treat as special characters. The question is, how do you represent the literal less than symbol character, right? Yeah. Using this entity, okay? All right. Then greater than, similarly, greater than, right? We need to use a special HTML entity for that. All right. All right, so here, entities are frequently used to display reserved characters, which will otherwise be interpreted as HTML code. Yeah. If you do not use these entities, you will use their special meaning in HTML. So you have to use the HTML entity to, escape from the usual usage. Yeah. So, and invisible characters. Yeah, sometimes you may have invisible characters, right? So you want to, all right. Yeah, invisible here. Yeah, let me give you an interesting invisible space character. Is that invisible? Space character. Do you remember if we like to, put 3 space characters? How do we do that? Here we use HTML entities to do that. This is non-breaking space. Here NBSP, that string represents non-breaking space character. Yeah, use the HTML entity, right? So this one, that's invisible, but we just want to leave a few more spaces between strings. Yeah, so that's the solution. Okay, all right, yeah. I already made this video too long, so I have to stop right here. Yeah, so that's our second video, and probably we need to finish this part right here because we run out of time. Yeah. All right, so let's stop here. Yeah.